Well done. That was really well done.
That was really good.
Yeah.
Just a lot.
Cheers. How this thing came together, in my opinion, is kind of incredible. You know, for us, it just kind of all came together naturally.
I really think that when you do things right and they just happen organically, it's the best way. You know, a lot of times you try to force something and it just doesn't work. But something like this, where you guys met someone who works for me and then you started talking shoes, and it just so happened that the first pair of vintage shoes that I ever bought was a pair of Florsheims, and it just all comes full circle.
When we first saw your work, we were so impressed with how everything from the beginning of the process is all hand done. And the finishes that you do are something that just can't be done in mass production.
It kind of brings us back to our roots in a way. The Florsheim brand was out of our family for 50 years. But when we got that brand back, all the factories were gone. Then our next step was, well, how can we start to make some shoes here again in this country and have some fun with it?
What excites me is to have a heritage brand who's well established and says, let's do something cool for the sake of American made. From you guys being an American heritage brand, me being a newer American brand, and then to find Wickett and Craig, and then having American hides that are actually manufactured and tanned in the United States. It's a really cool story that you just don't hear that.
It's kind of funny because it used to be a rite of passage almost for a father to take a son when he graduated from high school and buy him a pair of Florsheim shoes. And when we saw your work, and basically you're taking classic silhouettes, whether it's a wingtip or a cap-toe boot, and putting a very modern twist on it, which is, we feel, a natural evolution for the Florsheim brand.
I mean, I think that's what guys want. When it gets too out there, it's a fad. And you always go back to the classic. But how do you make that classic modern?
You know what I like about Florsheim George Esquivel is that you have that simplicity, but you also have some boldness. If you're somebody that's out there that loves shoes, you're gonna see things that you can't find anywhere in the marketplace.
Every shoe is one of a kind. So, because if you're hand punching each perforation, or if you're hand staining the soles,
right,
they're gonna be different.
But that's the beauty of it, in a way.
So we believe that you really have to do things that keep the creative aspect of the brand going and that are just fun. And the thing about this project, George, is that it's been, from the very beginning, a lot of fun.
It's a real honor to not only be doing Florsheim, but to be doing women's shoes. When we showed it to the press and we said to them, there hasn't been a woman's Florsheim in the United States in 40 years. They're like, really? They just couldn't believe it, that you guys have actually put that in my hands. I just keep smiling.
We trust you.
So, you trust me. There's a lot riding on this. So it's
also, we have daughters.
Yeah, I have daughters. We got to make them happy.
They actually said, hey, you did it right, but you got a lot of help from George.
I think at the end of the day, to me, a beautiful thing is something that's made by hand. I mean, it doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be a brand. It's just, if somebody puts their heart and soul into it, it comes off as something that's just beautiful. And that's what I tell my guys all the time, my girls, just put love into it. And that is true luxury. And I think what we're doing as a collaboration is true luxury. When someone puts their love into it, it's gonna come out beautiful.